Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Hamida, if you didn't already know that. And this is my January wrap up. Look at me being consistent. Yeah, let's see how long it lasts. This month I read 5 books and I will be discussing them. By discussing them, I'm just gonna say how I felt about the book. I'm not very good at reviewing books, so I might not go in depth like some other reviewers. I'm just going to tell you how I felt about them, what I rated them, and yeah. Let's get into it. Before I talk about my books, I feel like I should stop doing monthly hopefuls, you know, like when you have like your monthly TBR, what you'd like to read in that month, whatever. I feel like I need to stop doing that because I should know better. As a mood reader, there's no way I'm going to choose books in advance and then read it when the time comes, because I might not be in the mood for them. So I can tell you that I did not read any of my January hopefuls because I picked them up and then just put them back down. And some of these books are like anticipated releases. So like I think on my list I had like So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole and The Principle of Moments by Esme Jikemi Pearson. I think that's what she's called. I'll put the books up here. And I was very excited to read them. And then when the time came, I didn't. Like I even had an arc for the Principle of Moments, and Waterstones delivered my So Let Them Burn copy like 2 weeks before publication day. So I had a lot of time to read them. I just didn't because I wasn't in the mood. I read other things instead. So I think I need to stop doing like monthly hopefuls. Yeah. But yeah, let's get started. So the first book I read this month is Twisted by Emily McIntyre. I read what did I read? The first of the series, Hooked. So these are basically like retellings of like some of our like favorite like Disney animation. So like Hooked was like based on like, it's like a Captain Hook Wendy retelling. I hated that book with passion. I gave it a 1 star. It was atrocious. I don't understand how anyone liked or enjoyed that book. It was horrible. So I thought, oh, let's give another book a go. Me thinking it was the second book. It wasn't the second book. I didn't realize it was in the second book until I finished the book and realized it was the 4th book in the series. I mean, I know that you don't have to read them like, I know you don't have to read them in order because they're standalones, but it really annoyed me that I read book 4 instead of book 2. I'll read you the synopsis before I get into it because I hated this book. Basically, the description for the book is: she's a diamond in the rough. His worst nightmare. Yasmin Karam, daughter to one of the richest men in the world, has never known strife. So when her beloved father falls ill, she is determined to make his final days his last wish, to see him married to a man of his choosing. Except Yasmin's heart already belongs to someone else, a servant, a street rat, a man her father would never consider worthy. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, Yasmin strikes a desperate deal with her father's right-hand man, Julian, not realizing he has his own twisted agenda. Julian Ferracci has one goal: become the most powerful man in the world. He's built a future from broken bones and faded bruises, never caring who he hurt along the way, but when his mentor falls ill, he finds himself on the verge of losing everything, and he'll stop at nothing to inherit what is rightfully his, even if it means forcing a woman he can't stand into marriage. Yasmin is a brat who speaks out of turn, and he's the villain of her story, but he decides she will be his no matter what it takes to convince her. Sounds interesting, right? Hated it. Hated it. Or this is my second book of Emily McIntyre, and I just don't think she's for me. It might be the writing style, it might be the characters. I don't know. I don't think Emily McIntyre is for me, so I'm gonna stop there. So Twisted is about Yasmin, a girl called Yasmin. Her dad's the richest man in the world. Has like a big massive diamond company, and you know how like all these billionaires, millionaires, they do dirty jobs to like get to where they are, and they want to claim that it's the business, it's the company. No, they're doing other side of business. She's aware of it, but her dad tries to like, you know, keep her away from that life, but she also wants to prove to her dad that like she can take over the company because her dad's dying, but her dad doesn't believe that she could do that. And then her dad's got a right-hand man who's called Julian. Julian's a bit he's the one doing all the works, and Yasmin's dad's taking all, not the credit, but like everyone sees him as like the giant, the CEO or whatever, but then Julian's the one doing all the like the other side business, like actually helping the company. And also like since the dad's ill, Julian's taking more on, and rather than the dad hand over the business to Julian because he understands what's going on, no, he wants to marry off Yasmin to some rando guy, and hopefully then basically give his company to Yasmin's husband so that his legacy can continue. But Yasmin didn't want anything to do with that, so Yasmin wants to have the company. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but anyway, all through this book, Yasmin annoyed the living daylights out of me. She was I can't believe Dad doesn't trust I can do this. I can do this. Oh, rah, 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 I know how to do this. I want to show that I'm an independent woman. I want to show that I can like take over the business. But she doesn't know how to solve anything herself. She's always like, I want to prove to Dad that I can do it, yada, yada, yada. But she doesn't do any of that throughout the book. Like at the slightest bit of inconvenience, she goes to Julian, who hates her anyway, and then falls into his trap, and then goes on about how like she wants to get away from him, blah 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 blah. It's a dark romance thing, and I just hated everything. I hated. I can't. This book annoyed me so much that I just tried to like erase it from my memory, so I can't really remember what actually happened in the book. But I just know that they both annoyed me, but they didn't annoy me as much as the first book, Hooked. They were a bit more tolerable. I felt like as much as Yasmin annoyed me, she was a bit okay. And the main male character, Julian, he didn't annoy me as much as Hook. But then I don't know if it was the narrator for the Hook, because I listened to an audiobook, that annoyed me more than the actual character, because I didn't like the voice that was put on. But no, that's a lie. I probably would just still hate Hook if I read the actual physical book. But so I gave Twisted 2 stars because I didn't want to give it a 1. I really wanted to give it a 1 star, but then I couldn't give Hook 0 star. If I could give Hook 0 star, I'd give it 0 star and then give Twisted 1 star. But then I couldn't give 0 star, so I gave it 1 star. So I gave Hook 2 star. Twisted 2 star. Not because it was amazing, but because Hook got 1 star. Does that make sense? And if anybody doesn't like that, that's a you problem. It's my opinion. I don't know if anyone saw that author on Twitter being like, anybody who rates a book less than 3 star is an asshole. Well, this book's getting a 2 star. Because it's my opinion. If I didn't enjoy the book, I don't care how long it takes you to write the book. If it's not good to me, it's not good to me. So that's that on that. Moving to the second book. The second book I read was Outdrawn by Deanna Gray. I've heard of her, but I haven't read any more of her books. I think I have one. Is it Disposition? I can't remember. It's Summer Disposition. I can't remember. Sunny Disposition. I don't know. But I've heard like she's a good author. So when I saw the book, it was basically the cover that drew me to the book. I don't know if you can see it. I was like, yeah, I gotta read it. I'll read you the description again. Noah Blue finally got her foot in the door after clawing her way to the top of the charts with her webcomic. She's garnered enough attention to earn a full-time position at the company relaunching their cult classic comic Queen Lisa. Queen Lisa is projected to be an instant bestseller with movie deals already in making. Things are falling into place. There's nowhere to go but up as soon as she gets one person out of her way. Sage Montgomery has always been the best artist in the building. Raw talent's gotten Sage to the top of the charts every month for the past 8 years. Sage's career has plateaued but can be easily fixed by working on a big mainstream comic. Sage was promised complete creative control over Lacer. Instead, Sage got a shared credit with the one artist who's been breathing down her neck since college. The one artist who has fighting chance of being better than her. This book was so cute. I loved Sage and well, have I just forgotten the other character's name? I loved Sage and Noah. They're so cute. I have nothing bad to say about this book. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was very interesting. It was cute. It was funny. The characters were lovable. I gave that book a 4-star. I really enjoyed it. I had no problems with it. The characters were lovable. The story was amazing, and the reason I didn't give it a 5 was like basically like to get a 5-star you have to like change my life. So it'll get a 4-star. Doesn't mean it wasn't good. It was amazing. I would recommend it to anybody. It's your typical rivals to lovers trope. Sage is basically always loved, like, you know, making comics and drawing comics and, you know, getting a dream job, and then only for her to be competing with the person she's basically been competing with forever. So Sage normally, like, Noah posts online, Sage posts online, and Sage's story are always like at the top and Noah's trying to get there, and then for them to be at the same company and competing against each other, what do you expect? But it was very cute. I loved it. I have nothing bad to say about the book. I loved every character in the book, except for Sage, Noah's parents, and her sister. I wanted to strangle her sister. But it was a good book. I think you should all read it. It was amazing. Loved it. I'm gonna have to read the other Diana Gray's book. So I'm gonna say Sunny Disposition. Okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think it's Sunny Disposition. Yeah, that's the second book. I don't think I explained that properly, but anywho. The third book I read was Not the Worst Friend in the World. It was an e-arc I got from NetGalley, and basically it's a middle grade book. The reason I got it is because, so I had another NetGalley, but then because this was last year, and I don't know what I was going through it, so I requested a lot of arcs and I got them, and I just never read them. And then I didn't give any of the feedback, so I've got like a lot of, like, the feedback ratio is it's atrocious. So if I was to request any more arc on that, I wouldn't get it, and there's quite a few arcs that I wanted I know that I couldn't get. So I created a new NetGalley and just requested a bunch of middle grade books so that I can get a good feedback ratio and then request the arcs I want, if that makes sense. The description says, Lou wants to go back to 9th day of 6th grade, the day before she fought with her best friend Francie and said the terrible, horrible things she can't unsay, or better yet, she would go back to 5th grade when Francie was still the old Francie. Can Lou Bennett keep a secret? She'll do just about anything to prove herself to her new friend and the best friend she betrayed. Then the new girl, Cece Clark Duncan, passes Lou a mystery note. It says she was kidnapped. If Lou can help Cece, maybe she can prove she's not the world's worst friend. But as observant Lou uncovers the complicated oh my god, I can't say truth. But as observant Lou uncovers the complicated truth about Cece's family, she starts to panic. Can she help Cece without hurting her, or will Lou end up losing another friend instead? I enjoyed the book. It's basically what everyone, probably most people, went through at what's called 6th grade, and I want to say, what is 6th grade? Yeah, so like 11, 12 years old. So it's like, you know, 6th grade will be by our UK would be like going to year 7. So I feel like everyone went through that, where like going from year 6 to year 7, you like kind of lost friends, people change, and the book just basically just goes through that basically, and you know, knowing when to keep a secret and when to actually like speak out, if that makes sense. But anyway, I enjoyed the book. It was good. I gave it a 3-star. And I don't know what else to say about the book. It was very well written. I'd recommend it to people around that age range, because then just to like show that, like, you know, everyone goes through that, because I'm sure a lot of people probably lost friendship like from, like, you know, the friends you've kept from like primary school. You definitely some people definitely didn't keep that friendship as soon as they start year 7, because people change. Some people want to be popular, and some people want to, you know, just stay the same, and so it's an interesting book. The next book I read was The Tragedy of Felix and Jake. Oh my god, when I told you I sobbed my heart out. This book broke me, then put me down. It broke me, then put me back together again. Yeah, it did that. I basically, at the end of last year, I just saw a lot of people on TikTok talking about this book, and I was like, oh, what is it about? Like, I'm not one for reading books with sad ending, okay? I can't do that. Like, to me, my book needs to have a happy ending. Like, if you like books with sad ending, good for you. But it's not for me. The cover at first did not, like, I don't know, didn't, oh, where is it? Can you, yeah. There. Like, there's a little like broken heart there, and I was like, might not be a happy ending. And I read the description, and it said it was guaranteed happy ending, so I read it. But I didn't expect to cry. I cried, I laughed. It was cute. I'll read you the description. They say the best way to stay sober is to love yourself. I'm great at making bad decisions. Addict, check. Poor impulse control, check. Obsessed with the guy I'm sponsoring, check. And then it says, falling for my sponsor is not my worst idea yet, but it's damn close. Felix Field is everything good. He's thoughtful and kind. I can't help, but we can't be together. I'm not willing to risk my recovery for anyone, even if he might be perfect for me. Finding a love like this is nothing short of a tragedy. If the author's note didn't say this book ends in a happily ever after, I don't think I'd have picked it up. I do not think I'd have picked it up, because, yeah, no. Unless it's got an happy ending, a happily ever after, I'm not picking it up. Yeah. I gave this book, I want to say, what did I give it? Give me 1 second. What did I give it? Anyway, you guys should get on, like, Storygraph. It's so much better than Goodreads, okay? Storygraph, and it's black owned as well. We support black owned businesses here. And it's so much better than Goodreads. Like, Goodreads interface is absolutely shocking. Like, I feel like that interface has been there. It's been the same for the past century. Like, get with it, Amazon. I gave it a 4.5 star. Like, I didn't give it a 5 star because it didn't change my life. Basically, Jake is an addict, and the book starts with Jake basically relapsing. And the way it starts, like, I didn't even realize that it was happening until, like, because I think you were like in Jake's mind, and then like let me start again. It started with Jake calling his brother, saying that, oh, he's scared that he might relapse because his girlfriend had broken up with him and cheated on him with like his friend, I think. And then he rings his brother, like, upset, being like he was scared that he was going to relapse. And his brother was like, I'm on my way. But his brother's like 6 hours away. But you didn't find that out until like, and then it seems like everything had gone back to normal, and like he's like tried to stay sober until it then jumps to like somebody breaking into his room, and like Jake had already used. And every other thought from when he ended his call with his brother was him high, basically. And it was just very sad, like, because his brother was 6 hours away, and like he tried so hard. You find out that he tried so hard not to use, like he lasted 5 hours, and it was the last hour he broke, and that power had me crying. And then obviously he moved back to live with his brother and his brother's fiance or wife, I can't remember, and you know, tried to get his life back together. He'd gone to rehab again, and he'd just come out, and he'd been sober for a while. He'd gone to meetings but never spoke. And then he meets Felix at one of the meetings, and they get talking, and Felix was like, oh, I'll be your sponsor. But Felix was also a recovering addict who had been sober for about a year. I want to say like Jake had been sober for 7 years since the first chapter, and Felix had only been sober for a year. And Felix was like, oh, I'll be your sponsor, because you need a sponsor. Like when you go to AA meetings, something it's good to have sponsors, like, because they're the ones that understand what you've gone through, because they've also been addicts, or they are also addicts. And Felix basically helps Jake and they become friends, and then lines are a bit blurred, they fall in love, can't be together, and everyone's like, they can't be together because addicts and addicts can't love each other. And yeah, and then you get to see like Felix have his bad days, you get to see Jake have his bad day, and they, oh my god, the final chat, like when Jake relapsed and like they were looking for Jake, and oh my god, I was so stressed. I thought Jake was gonna die. Like I had tears streaming down my face. I thought Jake was gonna die. But I love the book, okay? It was very good. Final book I read, which was 2 days ago, not to lie, a day ago, was Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. It's about hockey players. I don't really read hockey books because hockey is not for me, and like from what I know about real life hockey and stuff, so but a lot of people were talking about it on TikTok, so I said let me give it a go as well. So I read it. It's cute. I loved it. It was fun, I guess. Give it like, I think I gave it a 2.5 star. Like it ain't changed my life. You know what I've done? Every time I've looked at this, I've said my rating, but I think I've given the wrong ratings because I've been looking at the average rating, not my actual rating. So I'm gonna go back and like tell you about my other ratings. But yeah, so my bad. I think I've been lying. But Heated Rivalry, there's not much I can say about it. They were hockey players, and it was fun, I guess. So those are the 5 books I read in the month of January. Interesting books, different books. Tragedy of Felix and Jake and Outdrawn, both of them are probably my favorite read for January. I do recommend some of these books. Well, not all of them. Twisted, bin it. But yeah, I did enjoy some of these books. Well, I enjoyed most of them, apart from one. Again, bin Twisted. Read them if you want to. If they're right, like if they sound like your kind of book, read them. And yeah, let me. If you've already read them, let me know what you thought about them. Like, what are your thoughts on them and what you rated them as well. Hoping I actually get to read the books that I was planning on reading in January next month. I probably will still do a hopeful video because monthly hopeful video. Monthly hopefuls. Monthly TBR video. I probably will still do it because why not? Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye.